Hi there. Hi there. I'm Lyndon Thorpe. As you know, I'm here every Monday and Wednesday and Friday. I'm always here. And today we're streaming to LinkedIn and to YouTube. So welcome, everybody. And today I'd like to introduce this week's topic or theme. I have a different one every week, and these themes come to me through the work I do with individuals and so on. And then I realize what people still need to know about embodiment. So really this week, my core message is that recovery from whatever it may be, illness or overwork or burnout or whatever it may be, is not the opposite of responsibility. Does that make sense? Recovery restores responsibility. So if we split that word up, it's a nice long word and it comes with a heavy cost. Responsibility, all about duty, all about the things that we feel obliged to do, people pleasing, all of these things are responsibility. But if we split it and we look at the word response and ability, the ability to respond rather than react. This is really, really important. So welcome everyone. And I'm going to start off a little bit dramatically today. I'm going to make a sound. I'm not going to tell you what kind of sound, but I'm going to make a sound. And I'd like you to see what happens when you detect the vibrations of that sound. And think about reaction as opposed to response. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what happened? Did you tense up? Like maybe you do when you hear the phone ringing? Or did you recognize that it was a rather unusual kind of sound that maybe summons people to rest or to prayer or to meditate or something like that? And so that maybe changed your response. But the key really for us all now, as we get more and more digital, more and more involved with AI and so on, is to learn to step back. We talked about this on Saturday in Peace and Wealth with Ebby Sheila. To step back is so important. So when we hear a sound, the greatest thing we can do is to step back and breathe and weigh it up. If somebody's ringing you, well, if you don't answer that call, it's not life or death, probably, hopefully, and they'll ring back or you'll ring them. So it's learning to come back from that kind of hard response to the sound. It's a really, really important thing to build into your daily life. So as often as you can, make sure you're responding in your own time, in your own way, not to please anybody, not to run around after somebody else. Think about you first. Everything begins with the self. We say that often. Everything begins and ends with the self. So if you are responding in a really calm, non-dramatic way to a sound in your external environment, you're going to be so much healthier, so much more balanced, and the tension in your body will slowly ebb away. We've got some great comments here from Ebby Sheila, and who is here to guide us too. She says recovery restores responsibility. And yeah, she understands this split in the word responsibility. It's too long anyway. But if we separate it out as response and ability, then we can see a big mindset shift. And if we can shift the mindset and get down into the body, then we're going to really learn something new about how to navigate the dominant intellectual visual world. And so Abhishita says, yes, when she heard the bell, she felt calmer. And Dr. Zishan Aslam is here and is saying this is an important conversation that is needed. Thank you, Zishan. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. So just to go on a little bit further, yes, this word responsibility, it's become a great burden. And in fact, I live in Japan. I'm afraid here we have what we call responsibility suicides. So these are people who work in companies and they're given so much to do. They often work 16 hours a day. They have very few holidays, and eventually they break down, they burn out, and very often they kill themselves. It's really shocking here in Japan. It's still happening here. Slowly things are changing, but really it is very dramatic here. So, yeah, by reacting, you're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to get validation. You're making sure you're available 24/7, maybe. And really, it boils down to the fact that you're performing. And you know, the body needs to recover, the spirit needs to recover. But this word responsibility holds another meaning too. It's, yes, as I mentioned earlier, it's not reacting, it's not collapsing, it's not performing. And really, it's self-compassionate. If we are kind to ourselves, you see, we put everybody else before ourselves. How can we survive? How can we be healthy and happy when we're always people-pleasing? So the important thing is to realize that, first of all, you have to be healthy and happy so that you can support everybody else who wants your support. So when that kind of people-pleasing and responsibility become a burden, we little by little systematically lose contact with ourselves, with our true nature. And we begin working not from a foundation of calm, love, appreciation, gratitude, all these wonderful positive things that human beings, that form the essence of human beings in my book, then we get further and further away from that. And instead we build this very rickety platform that's based on pressure. We become hurried, reactive, resentful, numb in some cases, and we are overextended. This is not natural. It's not how we're meant to be. And if you ask some people who are working really hard and, you know, digitally, they're online for, 10 to 16 hours a week. If you ask them why they feel they have to work in this way, why they're so afraid they won't be noticed, why they're seeking validation so desperately, then I think you'll find the answer is they can't stop. They've established this pattern of racing, rushing to catch the train, as I call it, and never quite catching it. And in the meantime, doing untold damage to their nervous system, to the relationship between the body and the unlimited mind, which is your heart energy. So the body is crying out for you to stop, to really stop and to step away from this urgency. And your spirit is withdrawing. Your spirit is the engine that drives everything. It's the human spirit. It's how we come to survive, how we have evolved as a species, our spirit, to overcome, to transcend, no matter how incredibly difficult that might be. And indeed, our ancestors had some incredible battles. We can't even imagine what it was like for them 300, 400, 500 years ago, never mind 3,000 years ago. So, yeah, the nervous system starts to pay a huge cost for this kind of urgency, relentless urgency. People can't sleep, people can't eat. It's just so unnatural and so unhealthy. And when we talk about corporations, when we talk about corporate responsibility, it's tied even more strongly to things like approval, money, of course, tick box exercises, hierarchy, targets, reputation, and in general, not letting the side down. And that's all about pride. Yeah, that's another topic, but we will touch on that soon. It's important. Of course, human beings want to show that they are reliable, and that's excellent. But they also want to show that they're indispensable, which is not a reality if they're working for someone else. If you're working for yourself, that's different. You are, of course, indispensable to your own business. But if you're working for someone else in a company or corporate organization, then you are indispensable and you are dispensable too. But when responsibility is driven only by external pressure, it becomes really dangerous. And I see cases of extreme burnout. And when people burn out, it's so difficult to recover from that. They don't know it's happening quite often. And then there's a complete breakdown and people cannot function. Their business falls apart. They have to leave their job and so on and so forth. Yes, so remember Japan, we call it karojisatsu. That's responsibility suicide. It's connected with overwork and stress. So this tells us something so important. Responsibility without recovery can become life-threatening. And when we work only from outside pressure, then responsibility becomes a kind of performance. When we work from inside, responsibility becomes direction. That's what I call it. And this is why working for yourself can feel very different. Not because it's easier, perhaps, but because the source of action can come from within. And the question then becomes, am I responding from truth or performing for approval? Recovery restores responsibility. It's not withdrawing from it. It's what makes real responsibility possible. A tired, exhausted nervous system cannot respond clearly. A depleted leader cannot create a healthy team. It's impossible. And a person who has lost contact with the body and the spirit cannot keep transmitting stability. Doesn't that make sense? People don't copy policies. They copy nervous systems. So recovery is not a selfish thing. It's a leadership. It's a kind of hygiene for leadership. It's a kind of spiritual hygiene, if you like. And it certainly is human hygiene. So let's just do a little practice just to get you set up. Please sit comfortably or stand, whichever, both are fine. And this is not fixed. You can move around if you're uncomfortable. This is not set in stone, but just be comfortable. And feel the chair beneath you. Feel the floor beneath you if you're standing. And if you're sitting too, let your feet really make contact with the floor, and especially the outer edges of your feet. Just think about the outer edges of your feet really spreading out. So the soles of your feet are really spreading over the floor. Okay. And just come back to your body. Let your breath become quieter. So we're secure, we're held by the chair, and we're held by the earth if we're standing. We're really quite heavy. Gravity is really working, and we can really feel that. But also, the desire, the urge to be upright is so strong. So let the crown of your head up into the heavens. You don't need to stretch, you just need to think of the crown of your head going up into the sky. And then we have the perfect situation. You're secure, you're seated, you're held by the earth and the gravitational force. And then our human instinct is to be upright. And so the crown of the head will take us up, just with thought. You don't need to stretch or do anything like that. And your breath will become quieter once you feel safe and grounded. Then it's a really good thing to ask yourself a question inwardly. What am I carrying that is not truly mine? What am I carrying that is not truly mine? Pause. Feel the response to that. We don't need words. You can just feel a response to that. And then the next question is to ask yourself, what would I be able to respond to more clearly if I allowed myself to recover? And again, just notice how you feel when you ask yourself that question. Recovery is all about permission. We are driven by external forces, when all the time the most important forces to drive us are inside. Our spirit, our heart, our bodies, our amazing bodies, and our incredible, invincible desire to survive and to succeed. It's so human. It's so wonderfully inspiring too. So during the week ahead, it's time to bring this to a close now, but during the week ahead, please notice where your responsibilities have become a burden. And do notice what you say to other people too. You maybe say, somebody invites you and you say, oh no, I can't possibly come. I'm so busy. I've got so much to do. Now that is a responsibility burden. So you have to reframe that. You have to say instead, oh, I'm sorry, I'd love to come, but there are so many things I really want to do today. I'd really love to do these things today. See the difference? See the feelings? So remember that recovery is not the opposite of responsibility. In fact, recovery, true recovery, which is what I work with people, really restores responsibility. So it's been great to talk to you today. And if this really resonates with you, there are many ways I can help. We can help. Lodestone is our main product. And Lodestone is a 30-day program. This program is amazing. It's 30 minutes a day for 30 days. This kind of work, giving yourself permission, you may say, oh, that's easy. Okay, I'll just tell myself. But it takes more than that. Even if you remember to tell yourself, it takes much more than that to make that a habit, to make it a reality. And so 30 days, any psychologist or psychiatrist will tell you, is a kind of minimum for changing habits. So if your habit is to be urgent, to be rushing, to be driven from external places and by external forces, then you need some time to recover and to reframe responsibility, and in fact to learn how to respond rather than react. So through 30 minutes a day commitment to Lodestone, you can really start to develop these feelings of being anchored, of slowing down, of enjoying your breath. And we work on Lodestone principally with the breath, the spine, and the whole body awareness. These are the three pillars of the Lodestone practice. And so I highly recommend this to you. And I recommend too that you come and get a taste of that on Mindful Moments. Yeah, Mindful Moments is a 3 days a week free mindful practice that I offer anybody. And really, it's the basis of Lodestone. And you can come and join me for 30 minutes. And I will take you through the basics of this mindful practice in 30 minutes. And I find that people within that 30-minute period really start to notice something. And they say things like, oh, I can feel something different. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I like it. Okay, I'm going to try this again. So I run these sessions on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and I focus on the EDT, the Eastern Daylight Time coast, and on PDT. So it's 8 in the evening on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, EDT, and 5 p.m. PDT. But don't worry if you're in UK, because I also repost this live to suit the British European audience. So, you can access it in many ways. If you'd like to know more about Mindful Moments, I've been running this now for close on a year and a half, every single week. I haven't missed a single week. So I'm always here to guide you into a mindful practice. So come and get a taste of it. And when you feel some little tiny shift inside, or a little difference in how you felt before the practice and at the end of the practice afterwards, then this is a sign that your body is responding. Your spirit is responding, not the intellectual mind. And that for me is really wonderful. And it should really move you to make a commitment to yourself to spend 30 minutes a day on balancing your body, spirit, and mind with a guide, with the right guide. Lodestone is quite unique, by the way. It's becoming more and more popular. We are sharing it with organizations and healthcare practitioners and so on. And it does seem to represent the missing link for many coaches, for many clinicians, and so on. The missing link is that you can explain to someone who's experienced terrible cancer and terrible treatment of the cancer and is now recovering from that situation. You can say to them, if the more active you are, the more resilient you'll become and the less likely your cancer will return. But The problem is motivating people to do that. They can accept it here, but then they don't have the confidence, perhaps. They've lost so much confidence in themselves through the illness, through the treatment, that they don't do that. Yeah. So Lodestone, if you commit to it, 30 minutes a day for 30 days will really motivate you to put this idea into action. It's not until we take action that these things will really work. So if you'd like to know more about Lodestone, please contact us and we'll give you all the details. You can try a free day. We've got a sampler. You could try it out. But also you can come and do a live session with me. I'm live 3 days a week on LinkedIn. So we'll leave the link below this window so you can find out more about that. And Ebishila, dear Spiff, has just given us another comment here. Working from the inside, wow, mic drop. When responsibility comes from the inside, it is empowering. There is clarity, connection to the body to transmit stability. Yeah, absolutely. Everything starts inside. And the more we put off going inside, the more dangerous it becomes to be out in the digital world, scrolling madly, obsessively, trying to force your success. That's not what success is about. So thanks so much for joining us today. Please leave your comments and questions below. We'll be really glad to answer them. And if you would like to know more about any of the things we mentioned, we're always here on LinkedIn. You can contact myself. You can contact Baby Sheila too. And we can guide you to know more about these things. So reluctantly, I need to stop now. And I hope you'll come back again next week. We'll be here, same time, same place for the Burnout Breakthrough. This is Lyndon Thorpe signing off now. And do take a look at my book, Your Body is Your Business Plan. It's a wonderful guide to becoming truly self-reliant and truly connected to your body and your spirit. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now. Have a great week. Bye.